everyone. Thank you very much for coming to Warren's Team Talk. I hope you're all well today and having a great day. It's very nice for you to come and find me and see what I've got on offer for you. Well, today what I'm hoping to do, be able to do, is to review Arsenal's match last night at the Emirates Stadium against Leeds United in the fourth round of the Carabao Cup. That's what I'm hoping to do. So before we do anything else, can I just please ask you to put a like on the video, and if you haven't done it already, to subscribe to my channel, and also please don't forget to share the content around and all that sort of stuff. And also, if you're new to Warren's Team Talk and you've never been here before, I hope you're going to enjoy the video and that you'll come back very, very soon. Anyway, so without further ado and any more nonsense from me, let's get on with it. Okay, so Arsenal played Leeds United last night in the fourth round of the Carabao Cup, as I've already said. And let's start off by looking at the starting 11s and the formations. So Arsenal went with a 4-2-3-1 formation. It was a much changed 11 from the previous match that they played against Aston Villa, which they won fairly comfortably. They went with Bernd Leno in goal. Then they had a centre-back pairing of Rob Holding and Benjamin White. And then on the left-hand side, Sead Kolasinac. And then the right back was Cedric Suarez. Now, what I'd like to know about that is how the hell is it that Kolasinac is still at Arsenal Football Club? I thought months ago we were told that his contract was going to be terminated and it was going to be paid to leave the club. So how the hell is he still here? It's just absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, so ahead of them, we had Ainsley Maitland-Niles and Mohamed El-Neni in the sort of defensive part of the midfield. And then further forward than that, we had Gabriel Martinelli, Emil Smith-Rowe and Nicolas Pepe. And then operating as a lone striker, we had Eddie Nketiah. And Old School Gunner is here. So thanks very much for coming in, Old School Gunner. Nice to see you, mate. He says hello to me. That's very nice of him. Thank you, Old School Gunner. And how are you? 2-0 to the Arsenal will do. Yeah, I was happy enough with that. I had some concerns at the start of the game, but I'm going to talk about that in a little while. But yeah, it's fine. And then Leeds United, they went with a 4-2-3-1 formation as well. They had Meslier in goal, never heard of him, and Dramé at right back, and a centre back pairing of Laurent and is it Struple and S. Dallas as the left back. And then in midfield, they had in the defensive part of the midfield, they had Calvin Phillips and Forshaw. And then in the attacking part of the midfield, they had Harrison, Roberts, and James. And then operating as a lone striker, Bielsa plumped for Rodrigo. So both teams were very much changed from their weekend fixtures. So it should have made for quite an interesting clash. And to be honest, it did, I think. Old School Gunner says regarding Kolasinac, you can't trust a word that comes out of Arteta and Edu's mouth. Two scumbags, mate. You're absolutely spot on there, mate. I'm not gonna. I can't really counter that at all. It's just unbelievable, isn't it? The amount of BS that those two come out with. It's just ridiculous. So I guess that means we're stuck with him till at least January. So I mean, to me, the man is an absolute liability. The only thing he's good for is working as a bodyguard. But I'm sure we can find a company to do bodyguard duties for the Arsenal that's not going to cost the amount of money that he costs. Old School Gunner says Rodrigo struggled against Arsenal. The player who replaced him did well. Yeah, I was more concerned about a few other things that I saw in the game, to be honest. Particularly at the start of the game, but like I say, I'm going to come to that in a few minutes. But yeah, you're absolutely right. He did struggle. And then I want to look now at the substitutions that were made. So Arsenal made 4 substitutions. Who was it? Rob Holding, Ben White, and Mohamed El-Neni and Emil Smith-Rowe was substituted for Callum Chambers, on Alex Lacazette, Sambi Lokonga, and Nuno Tavares. And then for Leeds, they made 5 substitutions as well. So yeah, it was a game with a lot of changes, really, if you look at that. And then the McManus sense says, who was your man of the match? For me, I thought it was a toss-up between Ainsley and Laka for me, to be quite honest, because again, when he came on, he provided a lot of, Laka, what am I talking about? Ainsley and Eddie, because he was a constant thorn in the side of the Leeds defence, as far as I can see. So yeah, that's who I'd go for, the McManus sense. So yeah, thanks very much for that. Old School Gunner says Maitland-Niles was my man of the match. Yeah, I thought he was absolutely superb. So that's why I was saying it's a toss-up between him and Eddie. I thought they both played really, really well. And Arteta must have absolutely hated it, seeing Ainsley play so well. Same here, Old School Gunner says. And then Old School Gunner, it's not Ben White, Ron. It's Benjamin, the footballer previously known as Ben White. Yeah, man. I need to make sure that I do that, because obviously I'm going to upset him if I keep calling him Ben White. So Benjamin Bunny. Oh, sorry. Benjamin White. Anyone doesn't know, Benjamin Bunny is a character from a kid's storybook written by Beatrix Potter, and that's why I christened him Benjamin Bunny. Benjamin White, don't call Benjamin Ben anymore. He'll get upset, bless him. Yeah, exactly. It's pathetic, really, isn't it? But there you go. What can you do? So the match stats for the game. Leeds had 56% possession. Arsenal and Leeds both had 14 shots, and Arsenal had 4 shots on target, and Leeds had 5. And the corner count was 10-4 in Arsenal's favour, and the foul count was 5-12. So Leeds got 12 and Arsenal got 5. So there you have it. The McManus sense says, how's it going, Old School Gunner? And Old School Gunner says, I'm great, thanks. And the McManus sense says, top man. Right, okay, so moving swiftly on. Arsenal won the game, thankfully, by 2-0, and that was due to 2 goals. One goal from Callum Chambers in the 55th minute when he latched on a very poor back pass, which was a headed back pass from one of the Leeds defenders. It wasn't strong enough. He latched onto it, lobbed it over the keeper, and then ran round and then prodded the ball home. And the second goal, Callum Chambers, what am I talking about? They're talking about the Nketiah goal there. Sorry, guys. So the first goal was the goal from Callum Chambers when there was a corner and there was a succession of headers. It was a game of a bit like football tennis, really. And it bubbled around. It was bounced around in the penalty area for Callum Chambers, headed the ball goalwards, and the Leeds goalkeeper was unable to stop the ball crossing the line. The referee consulted the goal line technology, and then finally the goal was awarded. So, Callum, the English Cafu, as Lee Gunner likes to call him, managed to get himself on the score sheet. And then Eddie Nketiah scored the second one. Now, what happened with the second one was I was really impressed with this, to be quite honest. He obviously was very alive and lively around the Leeds defence. The ball was headed back towards goal by one of the Leeds defenders. I couldn't see who it was. Then Nketiah latched onto it, lobbed the Leeds keeper, and then ran round and prodded the ball home. So, quite an interesting victory for me, because at the start of the game, it was I found it quite alarming, actually, to be honest. So let me just check, see if there's any more chats. Yeah, Old School Gunner says Leeds were toothless in attack. James Dunlop's in the chat. Hi, James. How are you? Hi, Warren. Job done for Arsenal last night. Yeah, it was. It was I found it a very scrappy affair. It was difficult. It looked like both sides were finding it difficult to get any rhythm going, which is not it's not surprising, really, that both sides fielded a very much changed 11. I wasn't surprised by that at all. Leicester have 2 rows of teeth and sense blood, says Old School. Mate, I think that game's going to be a massive, massive problem for Arsenal. I really do. I think we could get turned over in that game, to be honest. Leeds look weak, not what I expected from them, to be honest. Leicester will be a totally different animal. I mean, thank you very much for that, McManus. And I think you were right. They weren't that good going forward last night. But then again, I don't think Arsenal played particularly well either. It was, the chances we got when they came, we managed to grab them. But it was a very scrappy affair. And like I say, both sides were very much changed. And I'm not surprised the game was like it was. I mean, that's what tends to happen if you make lots of changes and players aren't used to playing with each other and all that sort of stuff. But I was glad that Arsenal got the victory, obviously. But Old School Gunner, and the other thing I want to say about that is that Leicester will be a much tougher proposition. And if this game had been a league game and both teams were playing their full-strength sides, then it would have been a lot more interesting. I still think Arsenal would have won it, but it would have been a very interesting, very different encounter, I believe. Old School Gunner says Nketiah with the ball, Nketiah with the goal. Well, yeah, exactly. He did well. He took his goal well, and he pounced on. He got his opportunity and pounced on it well. It was a good goal in my opinion. Old School Gunners putting a laughing emoji, and Old School Gunner says hi to James. James Dunlop says hi, Old School Gunner, and then Old School Gunner's got a emoji with cool sunglasses, and James Dunlop says Leeds' main focus is the league. They are struggling badly. That's what I think as well, and I said that when I did the review yesterday. I thought they would be more concerned about the league and they wouldn't be necessarily too bothered about getting anything majorly out of this game. If they had the opportunity, of course, they're going to take it. But I think they'd be more worried about their league form, to be quite frank. And that's, for me, that's like the way it turned out. McManus says, totally agree with that, Warren. We weren't amazing either, but I expected more from Leeds. Happy with the result, of course. And James Dunlop says, who do you guys want in the quarterfinals? I'll tell you who I don't want. I don't want Sunderland. I definitely don't want Sunderland because if we lose that game, that will be embarrassing. Other than that, I'm not really that bothered who we get, to be quite honest. But be a laugh if we got Spurs, that's for sure. Because then we can go, Tottenham get battered everywhere they go. Tottenham get battered everywhere they go. So yeah, let's see what happens. But the other thing I wanted to say about this game was I was really concerned at the start of the game by the way that Leeds were so easily able to press us in possession when we had possession of the ball. On numerous occasions, I saw us either in defence or in attack, and the Arsenal player in possession would only have one option available to them to pass the ball. So consequently, we lost possession of the ball. And when you're playing against a team that presses like that, you need to make sure that your teammates move off. The teammates who don't have the ball move off the ball to give you options in which to pass to, and that didn't happen. And I found that really, really concerning, because when that happens, you're going to end up getting stuck in one area of the field. You're going to lose possession of the ball very quickly. And I remember that Barcelona did this to Arsenal in that famous game at the Emirates that ended in the 2-2 draw, and they had Arsenal pinned in and around their penalty area for sort of 20 minutes at the start of the game, and they were peppering the Arsenal goal. And if it hadn't been for Manuel Almunia, they would have been tanked 6 or 7. And I remember watching that game and it was the first time I'd ever seen a full match of that Barcelona side, and that at the time was being managed by Pep. And I was more impressed with them, with their defensive work, than I was with them going forward, because it was scary the way they were pressing. They pressed us so hard. It was incredible. So there you go. That's my thoughts on that. Looking at Arteta makes me angry, that photo. Yeah, I nearly put in a photo of my Arteta Windy Miller photo, but I thought, no, I'll leave that one. So I'll move the picture on for you in a little while, Old School. Don't worry, mate. And then James Dunlop says, I wouldn't want West Ham if they beat Man City tonight. No, neither would I, but I certainly don't want Sunderland, that's for sure. Because if we lose that would be a bloody nightmare. The banter will just be unbelievable. The McManus says, I want Spurs. They're just as crap as us. Yeah, exactly. And they can't win anywhere. As Expression said on his stream the other day, they said they've lost 4 North London derbies already this season, and it's not even December. That's just wild. I was loving watching him when he was doing that stream. It was absolutely hilarious. Um, and then old school Gunner says Pepe couldn't score in a brothel. Oh, here we go, not Pepe again. Yeah, I think I'll agree to disagree with you about Pepe. You got an assist last night, mate. Let's not forget. But yeah, bless him. I mean, he's so frustrating. That's the problem with him. And I want to see what he'd be like with a different coach, because there's lots of players in that team, in the Arsenal team, that aren't performing as well as I think they possibly could be, because of the way that Arteta coaches him and because of his tactics and all sorts of things. So, yeah, I just want to see them under a different coach. But in addition to what I said just now about the pressing, I thought the game was a very scrappy one. I don't think Arsenal played particularly well, but then again, I wasn't necessarily expecting like a really super fluid performance, just because of the amount of changes that Mikel had made, and that's what happens when you make sweeping wholesale changes like that. It's difficult for the players who are in the team because they're not used to playing with each other. So, yeah, I'm glad that we got the win in a scrappy affair. It shows a lot of determination and grit. But if we'd been up against a better level of opposition, I think it could have been a very difficult evening for Arsenal. And then... Yeah, I've read that one. The Man of Sense, you're absolutely right, mate, about us playing Spurs. That would be wild. So, yeah, that... So the rest, the other results from the Carabao Cup ties last night, obviously we know that Arsenal beat Leeds 2-0. Chelsea drew 1-1 with Southampton, but won 4-3 on penalties. So I dare say that Southampton, when they went into that game after seeing what happened to Norwich at the weekend, were like absolutely terrified about what was going to happen in that game. But they gave a good account of themselves, especially with all the problems they're having with their form of late. And then the final game last night, QPR drew 0-0 with Sunderland, and Sunderland won 3-1 on penalties. So, yeah, there you go. And then tonight, the games tonight are Burnley against Tottenham, Leicester against Brighton and Hove Albion, Preston North End against Liverpool, Stoke against Brentford, and West Ham v Manchester City. So, for those games, I think that Burnley will beat Spurs. I think that Leicester will edge out. It's difficult to say, man, because I reckon that Leicester and Brighton will make changes to their 11s. But if it was the two main starting 11s, you'd have to say that Leicester would win that one at the moment, because of they seem to be like picking up form. Preston against Liverpool, well, only a madman would back against Liverpool in this one. Stoke against Brentford, I think that Brentford will win that fairly comfortably. And then West Ham against Man City, I'm going to go for West Ham to win that one. I really am. They're in great form, and I think they'll beat them. But you know, with Pep, you never really know, because it all depends what sort of sides they put out. But yeah, but that's what I think. And then we got some more chats in. And let's have a look at the chats. And Unknown says, Warren, are you an Arsenal fan? I am, mate. I am, for my sins. I also follow Celtic and Dunfermline Athletic, but that's because of my family heritage. And who do you support, mate? And where are you from? And all that sort of stuff. That'd be interesting to know. And Jamie Hill says, bonjour, everyone, and well done, Arsenal. Thank you, Jamie, and thank you for coming in, Unknown. And thank you for coming in, Jamie, and Old School Gunner, and the McManus Sense, and James Dunlop. It's great to see you all. And James Dunlop says, Chelsea, I heard, weren't great either, but they always find a way to win. Yeah, great teams always do, mate, don't they? I remember that the Everton team in the 80s that had all that success, and the Arsenal team under George Graham were always able to grind out results when they weren't playing well. And James Dunlop says, hi, Jamie. Yeah, I remember, like, in the 80s, one of my best mates at work was a Spurs fan. And the year that Everton won the league, they won 2-1 at White Hart Lane, and I was really surprised. I thought Spurs would give them a really tough game. And when we went into work the next day, I was giving it to my mate, and I said, yeah, but all joking aside, mate, what was it like? He said, mate, it was a nightmare. He said, they're just like you were last year. And when he said that, he meant like Arsenal. He said, because they just ground out that result. They really did. They really deserved the victory because they fought so hard for it. So, and that's what I mean. When you're not playing well, you need to be able to ground out results and find a way to get the victory. So, yeah, James Dunlop is absolutely right in what he said about great teams always manage to find a way to win. Spoken word poetry. Jamie Hill says hi to James. James Dunlop says, if Preston only lose 1-0 tonight against Liverpool, they deserve a bloody medal. Laugh out loud. Yeah, but don't be surprised if Liverpool don't change their tide completely and play a load of youngsters and fringe players, because, you know, they're not going to risk injuries in that game. They're really not. And Preston might as well. I mean, I don't know how they're doing in their league, but if they're pushing for promotion, I can't see that they're going to risk it for this League Cup match. The McManus sense, Pepe's decline due to Arteta not playing him consistently. If he had a consistent run of games, instead of either coming on midway through the second half or being benched, he might get some consistency. Yeah, if you want players, I completely 100% agree with that McManus sense. If you want a player to play consistently, you need to play him consistently. Simple as. And his stats aren't bad. He's got good stats. I'm sorry, but he has. Last season, he was our second highest goal contributor. When you look at the amount of goals and assists, amount of goals he scored and the amount of assists he got, he was the second best in the club. So I just don't understand all this negativity around Pepe. It's Arteta, man. The issue with this team is Arteta. Simple as. And I'm convinced that if we had a top drawer manager, someone like Simone, he would get this team balling. He really would. I mean, look what Unai Emery did with Aubameyang and Lacazette. He had them absolutely firing. They were like on fire when he was managing the team. And I'm convinced that if we had Don Diego as manager, he would have that team balling, absolutely balling. I've got no doubt about it. And Old School Gunners, I agree with you, the McManus sense. And Unknowns come in and says, I'm also Arsenal fan. Cheers, man. Yeah, well, big up to you, Unknown. It's been quite a difficult couple of years since Arteta has been in charge, but yeah, and it doesn't look like it's likely to change anytime soon. well, I'm talking about the management, his management. But we are on an 8-game unbeaten run, so that's good. But whether it's going to, if we manage to get anything out of that game on Saturday against Leicester, it will be a miracle, and I'll be really, really delighted. Not against United, sorry, against Leicester, then I'll be absolutely delighted. I really will. But I'm not confident. I'm not. But it's going to be a really hard game, the big test for Arsenal at the weekend, in my opinion. Old School Gunner says, enjoy the rest of your day, Warren. Later, lads. Come on, you Gunners. Thanks, Old School, and thanks for popping into the chat. I really appreciate it, mate. The McManus sense says, the Arsenal under George Graham, those were great days. They were, mate. And George was, in my opinion, the best manager this club's ever had. Since I've been watching them, I've been watching Arsenal since 1972, and he's the greatest ever manager that we've had in that period. How he compare with Herbert Chapman, I don't know because I wasn't around then. But certainly since in the time that I've been watching Arsenal, he's the best. How are the foundations, by the way, Warren? I had to ask, laugh out loud. Mate, the foundations are there and they're all in place and the building's ready to go up and the foundations are built on solid foundations. Yeah, thanks for asking, by the way, mate. The McManus sense agreed, Warren. Arteta's the problem with this club, and spot on what you said about Emery. He had both Laka and Alba banging in goals for fun. Let's get Lego here out of our club and get a decent manager. Yeah, mate, I want Diego Simeone. I really do. I think he would have this team absolutely firing. He really would. He just won't take any shit. Can you imagine what he would do with Hector Bellerin and bloody Xhaka? I know that Bellerin's on loan at Real Betis at the moment, but do you really think the Betis are going to take him on? Because I don't. I think they'll say after seeing him, they're going to go, yeah, it's all right. No, thanks, but no thanks. And Xhaka, mate, that man's a fucking liability. I don't care what anyone says. I just don't think he's any good. So, yeah, there you go. So thanks very much, everyone, for watching. If you're watching on playback, please put a comment in the comment section of the video saying what you thought about the game last night and how you think the team performed and what you thought about Leeds and how you thought they performed. I'll be interested to read your comments, especially if you're a Leeds fan. I'd be really interested to get a perspective from a Leeds supporter as well, because my channel isn't just an Arsenal channel. It isn't. I do content about all sorts of different things to do with football. I really do. It's not just about Arsenal. I do, at the moment, I'm doing a series about Scottish football. I'm doing a series about all the different grounds that I've been to, and also a series about my memories of watching Arsenal as well when I was in my younger day. At the moment, I'm up to I've just done the 91-92 season, and the next one I'm going to do is about the 92-93 season. Yeah, so anyone who's watching this and who hasn't subscribed already, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Please make sure you put a like on the video, and please make sure you share my video with as many different people as you possibly can. That would be absolutely fantastic, and I really, really appreciate it. So, yeah, thanks very much for that, guys. So the next thing I want to talk about, I just want to give a shout out to some other YouTubers as well. There's the Old School Gunner who was in the chat a few minutes ago. I want to give him a big shout out. He does excellent Arsenal content, and he puts videos out at least once a day, sometimes more than that. He's a passionate Arsenal fan, like I say. He's been supporting the club since at least 1992. So he's a good guy. I really like the Old School Gunner. He's a top man. And then there's the 3 Pointers TV YouTube channel. And I love that name because it's three guys who present this channel. And there's that. And then also the fact there's obviously 3 points for a win in a game of football. So that's pretty cool. And they do excellent content as well. They recently did a vlog for the Arsenal Crystal Palace game when they were at the game. And that was one of the best YouTube videos I think I've ever seen. Anyone who hasn't seen it, go and watch it because it's absolutely superb. Especially the fan cams they did with some of the supporters. And watch out for the one with the young lad and the little snippet of Grange Hill music. It was absolute quality. And then there's Arsenal Alex. He does a brilliant Arsenal YouTube channel. He's another passionate Arsenal supporter, and he does regular content as well. I believe he's on holiday at the moment, so he's not uploading as much as he normally does, but I'm sure he'll be uploading a lot more regularly when he gets back from holiday. And then there's DrawnByDre, another fantastic Arsenal YouTube channel, and he's got his podcast that he does called Possession Based Podcast. Go and check that out because it's absolute quality. And then last but not least, there is the one and the only, the Claude and the Bansta's channel. It's presented by two guys, one called Diesel and the other one called Terry. Both absolutely mad, passionate Arsenal supporters. And when they're on stream together, you can 99% guarantee that there's going to be a massive tear-up because the two of them, they fight like cat and dog over Mikel Arteta, and it's absolutely hilarious. Terry, with his foundations, the amount of time that man mentions the word foundations is just quality. So yeah, go and check them out. Go and check out all these channels. Do yourself a favour. You won't regret it. Subscribe to their channels. Put likes on their videos. They're absolute quality. Then we've got another chat here from the McManus Sense. Agreed, mate. He was the best manager. When I was watching Arsenal growing up, Don Howe was Arsenal manager. Blimey, you go back nearly as long as I do, mate. When I started supporting Arsenal, I supported this club since 1985. Yeah, I remember being at Highbury when Don Howe... Lots of people say that Don Howe resigned. That's not how I remember it. I remember that he got the sack. And we were like about 9 points behind Everton, who were top of the table. And we had 3 games in... I was 6-7 points behind Everton. And we had 3 games on hand on them. And if we'd won those games, we would have gone top. And then they sacked him. And I remember that I was in the North Bank the game after he got the sack, and the whole North Bank was giving it to the director's box, like chanting, Donny loves the Arsenal, Donny loves the Arsenal, you don't. And it really was getting really venomous, really toxic. I remember that like people were jumping up and down, and it was an absolute madness. I've been supporting Arsenal since 1972, mate. And I remember the Terry Neal era, the Don Howe and Georgie Graham and Bruce Rioch and Stuart Houston. And who was that other clown they had in charge for a while? There's another one as well, but I can't remember his name. He was in charge for a few games as well. And then James Dunlop says, Claude and the Bansters, sponsored by the foundations. I love it, James. That's quality, mate. Absolute quality. It's true, though. It is. It's absolute madness. Anyway, so yeah, that's my review of the Arsenal Leeds United game last night. I hope you all really enjoyed it. Thanks to all of you for coming in and joining me for the stream. It was lovely seeing you all. And I want to give a big up to James Dunlop, the McManus Sense, and Old School Gunner, to the Unknown. Excellent name, mate. I absolutely love it. Jamie Hill, and who else have we had in here? I think that's it, but I'm just going through to make sure there isn't anyone else. Because we had quite a few comments today, which is great. Yeah, so thanks all of you for coming in. It was lovely talking to you. I really enjoyed it. I always enjoy chatting to you lot. I'm gonna, was it Wednesday today? Yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna do a preview of the Premier League matches this weekend. And and also talk to you some more about the prediction game that I'm running. Please make sure you come in for that, because I'm doing this prediction game for the Premier League matches, and it's wild. It really is wild. If any of you who are based in the UK and know about Sky Sports Super 6, it's a bit like that, but I do it for all of the Premier League matches over the course of the weekend. And it's something I've been doing for donkey's years, going back years and years and years. And going back to the early 90s even. And there's no prize on offer. It's just all of us having a bit of a laugh and having fun with it. So if you tune in tomorrow, you'll be able to find out more about it, or you want to go to the Warren's Facebook page, Warren's Team Talk Facebook page. You'll be able to find more information there as well. So it's great fun. Anyway, great stream, Warren, says the McManus Sense. Take care, mate. Thank you very much, the McManus Sense. It was great talking to you. I really enjoyed it. Thanks to you all. Thanks very much for coming in, and I look forward to seeing you all again really soon. Take care, everyone. Speak to you soon. Remember, make sure you keep talking, and make sure you spread some love and friendship around the world. Take care, guys.